album 1 in the books. We move to album number 2. Matt, you both can introduce the numbers and take the first take. Go ahead.
All right. So we got Neneh Cherry's Raw Like Sushi from 1989. Comes in at number 618 in the 1980s on Best Ever Albums. Number 56 in 1989. Number 4,122 of all time. It is Neneh Cherry's highest rated album. And it's not in Rolling Stone's list. And Neneh Cherry's ranked number 2,080 of overall artist rankings on Best Ever Albums. So, quick side note with Neneh Cherry, when I only knew her, didn't know her through her music at all, only knew her because when I was in, I think early in high school, maybe 9th grade or something like that, I got a subscription to Rolling Stone. And she was on the cover of the first issue that I got. And I remember it was kind of, I was like, who the hell? Like, I was all excited to get Rolling Stone because my brother had it. I had gone through his issues and stuff. And I was like, and it was like this woman on it. And it was like in this really, I remember the cover being all like very, like a blue tint on it. And it was kind of a little out of focus. And I was like, who the hell is Neneh Cherry? And then it wasn't until later on that like the Buck Cherry came out. And I heard they were related.
Really?
They were like brother and sister. And then I read it just this week that they're actually half
That cannot
siblings.
be correct. Are they really?
Yeah, they're half siblings.
That's a real thing?
That's
That
a
Buck
real-
Cherry and Neneh Cherry are...
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I would not have even connected them.
Buck Cherry and Neneh. Yeah, hang on. I thought you knew that, John.
That can't be real. Like, no, I had no idea.
I think it's the same. Is it Save Tonight? Who's the guy that does Save Tonight? Isn't that Buck Cherry?
That's Eagle Eye Cherry.
Sorry,
Buck Cherry's the lit up dudes that wrote like basically debauched sex music.
Right, it's Eagle Eye Cherry. Sorry,
we're not gonna cut that. We're not gonna cut that, Josh. We need to let that live in the world.
Don't cut that. That's our amateur podcast coming through. I was just thinking, Eagle Eye Cherry. Thank you.
That would have been the greatest shock ever that those two are related.
I was going. No, I swear to God, they're siblings. But it was a different Cherry. Buck Cherry.
It would have been like if you thought like Prince and Nat King Cole were related.
All right.
I'm looking at this Rolling Stone cover. I see what you're talking about.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my introduction to Neneh Cherry. And I didn't know any of the songs on this record. And I don't think I know any of her other songs like I have it. So I wasn't sure what to get here. So this was I don't know, guys. Is this the first? This is like a fusion of rap and like dance pop. And I don't know if we've come across because there's quite a bit of rapping on
I think
here.
of it more like dance and R&B than I think of it as rap and
but she's rapping, I guess
saying.
is what I'm, but she's
Yeah,
a lot of the
is.
verses she sings like half the song and she raps the other part. And the rap isn't just like a couple of lines or whatever. It's like she goes on for a while. So so it's kind of an interesting
fusion
melding of those things.
Yeah.
And I think it was done more, but I don't recall hearing it quite like this in our run of albums that we've done.
I don't think we've covered, especially a female artist. I don't think we've covered something like that.
Yeah, or even have we done even any female rappers?
No, we have not.
No. Okay. So there you go.
No, we'll do a few in the early 90s, but we haven't gotten to it
Sure. So this is kind of like a first there. So it's kind of interesting in that. So I think this was interesting for me because there are parts of this that I really liked. I was really taken in by the first track. Buffalo Stance has got a really, really cool like synth thing that's happening.
Is so
addictive.
Yeah, and
that was
like,
a
wow.
massive hit. A massive hit. I can remember
I-
hearing that everywhere. Yeah.
And I don't ever remember hearing it, but that's an interesting song because it starts off kind of just doing this like little beat kind of thing. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it kicks in. You're like, whoa. Like it just went to a different level. Like it just went from like a 3 to like a 9, just like boom. And it just kicks in and it's got like, it's really catchy. There's a lot of parts of this record that are just really catchy, really good dance songs. But it's also kind of like, and then the second song, Man Child, kind of reminded me, there's a bunch of like artists from like, it's almost like early 2000s, late 90s that kind of like Olive, Beth Orton. There's like, I just remember some of these albums coming across my way that's kind of got this, it's really hard. It's kind of like a mellow kind of synth. It's not really a dance song kind of song, but it's just kind of like this. It's like a chill wave kind of vibe thing that's happening, and so there's some of that happening here, which seems it seems 80s, but it also seems like a resurgence that happened, 20 years later, or maybe 10 or 15 years later, I would say in some cases. So, and then there was like New Jack Swing that's kind of like peppered in throughout here. That, some of like the beats that she was doing was like a New Jack Swing thing. And so I think I liked it overall. I found it just interesting, kind of feeling that there were definitely some beats and some songs on here that I liked, but also at the same time kind of feeling like it was a little cheesy at times. And I don't know if it's just like, if it's like a little bit of a time capsule that this is kind of represent, because there's a lot of cheese in like late 80s, pop and R&B and stuff. So I was feeling like a little tinge of that here. Which I don't think overall took away from me liking the record, but it probably took it down a little bit of a notch for me. But there's some really good pop stuff on here, and I'm surprised. It's not like I was totally in the dark about pop music or whatever. I knew a lot of it. I don't ever remember hearing this. Right. I don't remember this being on MTV or on the radio or anything, or any friends that, my sister that was.
Well, you weren't paying attention because Buffalo Stance was all over MTV.
Yeah,
like in my world. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that so I think generally I liked it. I don't think I'm like a high thumbs up. I think I'm like a moderate thumbs up on this record. But yeah, just interesting, kind of fusion of a variety of things, I think is what my main takeaway was.
Yeah, I saw it reach number 3 on the Billboard charts at one point, Hot 100, and I think it
was there a video for that? Did I miss the video?
Yeah, there was a video. Yeah, it was very 1989, like very 1989, with like stuff floating in the background. Like the, what I'm talking about, like stuff that's in the background. Yeah, that type video. Yeah, but no, yeah, I only knew the songs Buffalo Stance and Manchild from this album. Those were the ones that were familiar. So I had a little bit of idea. I also know that I knew a little bit of Neneh Cherry in the 90s when she kind of got into the world a little bit more of like, I'm not going to say like trip hop, but she ran kind of in those circles. Like I know she was doing stuff with like Massive Attack and like Nelly Hooper, and people like that. That was a little bit of what I remember when I was, I'm not going to say my phase of trip hop because I've always liked it, but like in that world, she kind of resurfaced there.
Is she Swedish or like English?
She's Swedish
or something?
Yes, okay. She's Swedish. I think I think the mom is from Sweden and the dad is either from Britain or the United States. I can't remember which, but like
she has a British accent out some
so
parts.
Maybe Britain, yeah,
feels
something like that.
All right, so she was born in Stockholm. Her mother was a Swedish painter and textile artist, and her father was from Sierra Leone in West Africa.
Don Cherry. Well, she also had a stepfather, Don Cherry, not to be confused with the hockey guy from Canada. Don
or Buck Cherry.
Yeah, but Don Cherry is listed in AllMusic as one of the most influential jazz musicians of the late 20th century, thanks to his imagination and passion for exploration. So that was her stepfather. So that was a seminal influence in her life as well. Just an FYI there. So that was in her life. But yeah, so I remember those two songs. I enjoyed this. This is very much a slice of its time, like the late 80s. But this was like the stuff that was like playing in the world when I was going to the mall, or it's the sound of the stuff I listened to when I was at the mall or in my much loved roller rink or other places that I'm at, right? It's kind of that type of music. I will say one thing. I don't know if there is a song that has got stuck in my head more than Love Ghetto in like years in doing this podcast. First of all, the lyrics don't make it an ounce of, there's a lot of like sports metaphors in it, like hitting home runs and using the left foot and the right foot and stuff. And I'm like, I don't quite know what I'm in a home run on the last stretch, so like horse racing, and then on the left foot with the right foot. But damn if I don't care, because damn, that song got stuck in my head, and it was a vibe, as the kids say right there. And it kind of almost gets repetitive, but in a way that didn't turn me off. But I really liked that song. I liked Inner City Mama, not inner I-N-N-E-R, Inna I-N-N-A, and there's a little bit of like playfulness on this. I liked like the song Phony Ladies with an extra E in there. You had Inner City Mama was in there, Man-Child. You got a song called My Bitch at song 10.
Bonus track,
so the bonus track is called My Bitch, yeah. And
So Here I Come. is it
So here I so here I come as a double entendre. So there's a lot of tongue in cheek in this. I think the song "My Bitch" seems to be about having an orgasm. I think, but like I can't quite tell what it's about. So lyrically, this album kind of baffled me, but yeah, by the way, the song "My Bitch," which I liked, also had a great line. It said, "All I could smell was leather and brute," which made me laugh right there. So there's all kinds of stuff that's good there.
Let me tell you my favorite line from Heart,
Yes.
the song "Heart."
Go ahead. Yeah,
You're so digital, girl. You're like one of those Cabbage Patch creatures.
that was a good one too. Yes. So yeah, there's elements of humor in this that are very tongue in cheek, but also like veering between different stuff. So also very much like singing in English, but coming from another language at times. Like the word choice is in there. But yeah, this put me in a good mood because this was sort of like the dance music of the late 80s. I know we had that long talk about like that I was baffled that like people would dance to like New Order and stuff. And I'm like, how do you dance to that stuff? And I kind of heard Matt just describe this album as, oh, I kind of got into this or not. I'm like, this is a dance album for me. Like this, the purpose of this album is to be played on the dance floor. And at times it sounds a little bit like early female rap, like early Salt and Pepper and like early TLC and MC Light and Queen Latifah, right? And all the hip hop MCs there. So that is the rap element, Matt, on those songs. It's coming in there. But then it also goes into dance R&B of the late 80s, which could easily, after you hear this album, you could hear a song from like Rhythm Nation 1814, which we covered last week, or a Prince song, or it would easily and seamlessly fit into that realm. And when you throw in the fact that there was a big old hit, Buffalo Stance, which is one of the odder big hits of the 80s because it's two songs sense. Really it's like one song that's very like, okay, you're like, it's a slow boil and you're like, I wonder where this is going, and then it goes into that like incredible, like almost like not a bass drop, but it's like it's like let the beat drop, you know what I mean, and then it's kind of like goes in a completely different direction, like how that it isn't that, it's not like a beat drop, but it's the same effect, right? Where like when the bass hits, it's like a completely different song than what's leading up to it. And it's the same thing. And boy, yeah, that chorus is like an incredible chorus. But once again, like I'm not 1,000% sure what the Buffalo Stance is. Like, were you guys able to?
I looked it up.
Yeah, okay.
Because she was
hell no.
She was a model. Because I said the same thing. I was like, "What is a Buffalo Stance?" Apparently, it's some sort of like model pose or attitude that they had to keep while they were modeling. And I guess that's
so
what
like
they called it
the Buffalo Stance. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But yeah, I enjoyed this album. I was really curious as to what you were going to think about this album, Josh. So I want to punt over to you.
I liked it. It
doesn't surprise me because it does reside more in my and your lane, doesn't it, than maybe Matt's lane a little bit.
I like the like you guys both said. I kind of like the fusion of rap and pop / dance / R&B. It was kind of all of those things at times, and I guess probably dance is like the foundational. These songs are definitely designed to make you move, like you said. I think it's playful, which is like kind of one of the things that charmed me about it. Not only like with the crazy lyrics, but just kind of like the attitude she has that she brings across on her when she's rapping, or sometimes it's almost like she's just like not singing and just saying the words or something, and which is funny. And songs like The Next Generation, which is about being a mom, I think, and like being,
or aspiring to be a mom. Yes, that was how I read it too.
Or like, like I guess Buffalo Stance is kind of the perfect epitome of that, because it really doesn't make any sense, but the song is so catchy, and especially that chorus, which is, I had not heard this song before, and I was surprised it was such a big hit. And Emily said she knew like part of it from somewhere, like they sampled it maybe or
the
something.
Chorus?
But
that song's been sampled a ton of times.
Yeah, so but
especially that synth line gets
that
sampled
song got
all the time.
in my head for sure. But then also like just kind of the whole, I don't know, it's not like necessarily, well, maybe it is, it's like the female point of view too on these songs. We haven't heard that too much, but it's also just kind of confident, and I think it's pretty sex positive, and I think she's coming from a place of like, I don't know, like, you know, being from like working class or like being from the street, or it seemed like she's, I don't know.
I don't think she is, though. I think
no,
she's,
no.
I'm
just saying that kind of point of view seems to be coming across in this, and
it's definitely multiracial, because she has that line about like black babies, white babies, quarter Puerto Ricans, 2/6 Chinese, which I thought that's oddly specific, but yeah.
Right. And just, I think, you know, kind of like deadbeat boyfriends or significant others, and man-child, and
like, I'm willing to have a lot of sex, but if you're a scrub, I'm not gonna have any.
Yeah.
It's like basically like proto No Scrubs.
Yeah, it is. I think that's kind of like,
Or Never Gonna Get It by En Vogue, right? Like, that was a trope of like the 90s R&B, right? Like, I'm willing to have a lot of sex and really good sex, but if you suck, you're not getting any of this sex, you know?
yeah.
So yeah.
And just the fact that like a song's called Outre Risque Locomotive didn't make any sense, but I would say it's definitely dance focused, because all of the tracks are pretty long and I think repetitive, and I think designed to be danced to, especially towards like the last minute or so. I was like, okay, you're not adding new choruses or verses or anything, but...
Although there's not a lot of repetition of lyrics. Some of these things are very wordy. These songs, like lots and lots of original lyrics. So.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes she goes off on tangents in songs too. I don't know if that's true.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like, it's not like, you know, most dance songs, right? Like, they repeat sort of the same chorus and bridge over and over. Not in this one. It's the same structure, but the words are all new.
So she's not focused in the main theme of the song. She just gets distracted.
I don't know. I guess so. Maybe
it's loose sketches.
I know what you mean, though. It's kind of funny. Like because some of those raps are really long. It's like, man, it's like you think she's just doing a quick breakdown, and it's like, actually, that was like a minute of just like free flowing, you know.
Yeah.
Rap,
or
so.
like the song is going along, and then she's like, hold up, and then she'll like say something. So she really like
ADD.
I think it's the point of view, and kind of it felt refreshing, and we hadn't really heard anyone like her yet, and that coupled with kind of a slight insanity to the lyrics, and the playfulness of it kind of charmed me overall. So I give it a thumbs up. I think it's worth listening to. I mean, check out Buffalo Stance if you haven't, but I think it's worth listening to the album as well.
And be prepared to have Love Ghetto stuck in your head for like weeks.
I think my favorite outside of Buffalo Stance was Phony Ladies. Like, I liked how that was kind of like I liked the there's like layered and stuff, and at the end there's so money going, you know, over, you know, like one thing on top of the other. It had a really cool kind of bleep bloop beat to it. So that was, it's a fun record for sure. It's So
it sounds like we all liked it to one point or the level or another.
Yeah, and this is one of those albums that, as time has gone on, has gained a little bit of esteem critically too.
Oh, really? Okay.
With people kind of looking, a bit, like a little bit before its time, which I can see as well, because this does earmark a lot of what's coming in '90s dance and R&B. There's a lot of similarities to
the Queen Latifah
female
was
rap, rap acts, and there's a lot of those like female R&B acts that have similar themes, right? Like, there's a ton in the early '90s, like En Vogue and you know, SWV and Expose, and you know, we can keep going, right? Like, even later in the '90s, you've got like Monica and
even Destiny's Child.
Destiny's Child. That's kind of the similar idea, right? Like, a lot of the themes are the same here. Like, you know, I'll give you a lot of love, but if you're basically, I also have to deal with all of these morons, like in Scrubs, right? Like, in my life, and like I'm exacerbated by these scrubs and these fake women, right? Like, that's kind of a lyrical theme. So, and that was on here. So, with some social messaging too, you know, like about the world. That's it. Yeah, sprinkled in as well, fashion and stuff like that. So, yep. So, thumbs up for me for sure.